All right. This next story is kind of a mix of the gun story and also a 2022 story. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, and I want to be respectful and kind of delicate with this story, but also there's some insanity going on. There's a guy named Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker is running for Senate in Georgia. Herschel Walker is endorsed by Donald Trump. Herschel Walker is a former NFL football player. And there are now multiple clips of him being, I don't mean just slightly kind of loopy. I'm talking about complete incoherence when asked about what should be done with regard to guns. Now, what's tough about this is I don't want to say this is necessarily a story about mental illness, but there are many reports about Herschel Walker that he suffers from dissociative identity disorder, that he has multiple personalities. So is there possibly a mental illness component here? Yeah. There is also the story or the allegation that what we're talking about here is a brain injury from football, that he has CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. But it also feels wrong to say this is simply a brain injury because this guy's a right winger either way. And in terms of his ideas, he has had terrible ideas for a long time. So I think if we just say this is a brain injury, we're also doing a disservice. But take a look at these clips. Manu Raju from CNN approached Herschel Walker the other day and asked him, do you think we need new gun laws because of what happened in Texas? And he said, what I like to do is see it and everything and stuff. That's his answer. Okay. This is the guy Trump endorsed and who won his primary in Georgia.
Hey, Manu Raju with CNN. I know. Can I ask you, do you support any new gun laws in the wake of this Texas shooting?
Do what now?
Do you support new gun laws in the wake of this Texas shooting?
What I like to do is see it and everything and stuff. I like to see it, My favorite New Jersey.
So he just kind of mumbles to himself, I like to see it, and walks away. This is complete and utter incoherence. This guy could be a senator, okay? And he would be a senator on the backs of Republican votes. Here's an interview he gave yesterday morning to Fox News. And he said that a possible solution to school shootings would be a department that can look at young men, that's looking at women, that's looking at social media. I mean, take a listen.
See, that is a person wielding that weapon. Cain killed Abel, and that's the problem that we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. He talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men, that's looking at women, that's looking at just social media?
Okay. What about getting a department that's looking at young men, that's looking at women, that's looking at social media? This could be one of 100 senators. And I want to be sensitive to the mental illness component, the brain injury component, but this is just fundamentally humiliating. This is the winner of the primary.
What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way? But yet they want to just...
We can stop what that way? What would we stop with a department that looks at men looking at women looking at social media? What on earth is that? It's like a strange... it's like those Russian matryoshka dolls of you've got social media and then women look at that and men look at the women looking. What are you talking about, dude?
Continue to talk about taking away your constitutional rights. And I think there's more things we need to look into. This has been happening for years, and the way we stop it by putting money into the mental health field, by putting money into other departments rather than departments that want to take away your rights.
Dear God. So that's a Trump-endorsed Republican. When Trump ran as a Republican candidate, we said the Republican Party would never be so dumb as to make this guy their nominee. And they did. And then we said, okay, but they're not going to be able to make this guy president. And they did. And so we now see Herschel Walker We need a department that can look at young men looking at women looking at social media. We see Herschel Walker saying what he wants to do is see it in everything and stuff, see it in everything, as he mumbles to himself as he walks away. And we say, well, they'll never make him the Republican nominee. And they did. And now we're sort of hoping they're not going to make him one of 100 senators, are they? And we're not going to know the answer to that until November. These are really, really scary times. Let me know what you make of it. Find me on Twitter at dpacman. One of our sponsors is Toodaloo, the plant-based trail mix that's delicious and climate conscious. It's hard for me to pick my favorite thing about Toodaloo. The sweet and savory flavors are great. Toodaloo regenerates 100 square feet of polluted farmland with every purchase and gives to causes that are fighting plastic pollution. Every bag has 35 grams of plant-based proteins. There's no refined oil or processed sugars or artificial flavors. The stuff I try to avoid, it's not in there. You can pronounce all of the ingredients. I've been snacking on Toodaloo regularly at home while I'm working. My favorite flavor is the spicy citrus, raw nuts, pumpkin and flower seeds, apple, pineapple, chickpeas with a spicy lemon lime kick. You can also get barbecue, chocolate clusters, coffee. One of my favorites is maple brittle. Listen, guys, my roots are in New England. Of course, maple. It's delicious. No ingredients to feel guilty about. It's just a great snack, and it's a company that's doing good things for the planet, and they support our show. So go to toodaloo.com/Pacman. Use the code Pacman for $5 off. The link is down below.